welcome to the Coding Break podcast. I am your coding coach, your coding break reminder, your coding instructor, all things related to the medical coding industry. So, yes, I am back from an extended coding break. Didn't plan to be gone that long, but I was facing that influenza. So, yes, I had to take a break from communicating or speaking on the podcast, but nonetheless, I am here. I am back. So what has changed? What's going on in the medical coding industry since I've been gone? And pretty much there's talk about AI. We've been talking about artificial intelligence before the new year, but it is here, and that seems to be the trending topic again as it relates to AI, artificial intelligence in healthcare, mainly artificial intelligence in the medical coding industry. We've talked about this so much. Hopefully, and I say hopefully at this point, if you are in the medical coding industry or if you're nonetheless in the healthcare industry, you should have already been implementing or practicing AI or artificial intelligence in your day-to-day functions. It's always been in healthcare. Now it's more prevalent. Again, it is trending. So you're probably paying close attention to it now, or noticing little things that I can't even talk. That was always there as it relates to artificial intelligence in healthcare. And so honestly, I gave my thoughts, my opinions, my perspectives as it relates to artificial intelligence, because I think it still has this underlining fear for many as it relates to healthcare, like especially if you are new to the medical coding industry, or if you've never dealt with artificial intelligence, or I would say never dealt with it as it relates to healthcare or medical coding. Again, AI, although it is new, is not something that you should fear as it relates to job security, because there's so many different scenarios, discussions surrounding AI, like it's wiping out jobs, and I'm sure it is, or it's going to take over, or there's this saying going around, and I've seen it on various platforms. AI is not taking jobs. The people who learn AI are taking jobs. I think that's it, how it goes. AI is not taking jobs, but the people who know AI are taking jobs. Yes and no. Yes and no. So, for example, and I'm going to use our medical coding industry as an example. Okay, if you're a medical coder, and like I said, by now you should know how to use AI. We've been using it for a very long time. AI, artificial intelligence, has been in healthcare for years before it started trending. Prime example of it already being in healthcare is when they rolled out, and this, I'm telling how long I've been in this industry. When they started rolling out, I want to say it's PQRS. I may have the acronyms wrong. Pretty much where the doctors or the healthcare organizations were reporting specific diagnoses based on age, gender, demographic, the codes that were being reported. AI was there. They were building AI back then. And this has been years ago. I'm going to say maybe 10 plus years ago when AI was introduced into healthcare. And how I know that is because AI is pretty much data. It's data driven. It's based on previous data, previous data analysis. So it's not something that is new. The term or the title of data collecting is artificial intelligence, but it was always here. Artificial intelligence is not bringing anything new or enlightening or some form of enlightenment to the job industry, specifically medical coding industry, because it has always been there. They just give every process or every step a different name. Like I said, PQRS, data collecting, where they were offering bonuses to providers who reported certain like diagnoses, certain, I'll say gender, ethnicity, all those things. I want to say it's called PQRS. I could be wrong in the acronyms, but if you've been in the medical coding industry, you know what I'm talking about. Where they were collecting, it was initially it started off as a voluntary thing. Then over time, it became something that was kind of required. And what they were doing, they were giving bonuses to those providers or those healthcare organizations who actually reported that data to. I can't remember who they reported it to, but I'm going to say the powers that be. So at that point, I considered that to be the step or the process where they were actually collecting data to build artificial intelligence. So again, AI has been in healthcare for many of years. It's just they give it a different name, a different title for each separate process. So AI is really basing its analysis or its end results on old data, right? So they try to pinpoint I'm going to say a diagnosis based on previous information, based on the gender of the patient, based on the age of the patient, based on the ethnicity, as well as the logistics of the patient, or demographics, of the patient. So they're AI is making assessments off of that. Now, can AI be incorrect? Yes, AI can be incorrect because let's say if I'm going to say North Dakota, right? When this data is collected, but I've since moved to Georgia, right? So that's going to skew the records or the data in a sense because I'm no longer in North Dakota. I'm in Georgia, right? Did they have the appropriate collection of information such as my gender, such as my race or my ethnicity? And if they don't have that, it's going to be basing the outcome or the diagnosis on assumptive data, right? Assuming that you are still there, or assuming, let's say, it may be making an assumption on I'm gonna say an African American female in her 30s that live in Georgia. But mind you, I just came from North Dakota, so technically I'm not really included in that data, right? So if a doctor is not doctoring per se, like they're not doing they're like genuinely doing an examination of the individual, like really collecting that historical data for that particular patient, and they use Google AI or they use whatever AI, ChatGPT, to try to pinpoint a diagnosis for that patient, they could be doing a disservice to that patient and basing their diagnosis on the output of ChatGPT or AI, right? So that's incorrect. So then you may be offered the incorrect treatment option or treatment plan for a diagnosis you may or may not have. Again, because it's all going to be contingent on that doctor doing their due diligence in actually collecting your personal historical information as well as doing a full out examination of your illness or your signs and symptoms and come up with a correct diagnosis of your health issues. So that's a little dark side of AI, but the beauty of AI in medical coding is it's going to help ease us into, or technically I say a promotion where we're promoted to like auditors, right? Because now we are checking or fact checking AI. Like AI again is going off of old data, but we are, as coders, as humans, we know what the current data is, and so we have the duty or the task of evaluating what AI is putting out, pretty much, right? So again, it is a plus for us because again, we have the capability to become auditors, or we can look at more complex cases versus the day-to-day tasks or like simple cases, or just whatever it is that's going to lighten our load, or where we can focus on more complex scenarios or complex cases as it relates to medical coding. So again, there's some pluses and some minuses for artificial intelligence. But as far as any other topic, that's what I'm seeing that is trending at this moment. Again, is artificial intelligence. We're just getting into February, so yes, so that is a trending topic. Many people are losing jobs. Many people are securing roles. Now, I will say that as far as medical coding, there are medical coding roles out there, definitely out there. Cause yeah, I see them. I see the emails. I get the phone calls, for potential coding roles. So yes, so there are coding roles out there. You just have to look for them, I guess, or they have to find you. So yeah, so that's all that I have for this coding break, and hopefully I won't be gone for an extended amount of time as I was before. But yeah, so again, I would like to welcome our new subscribers to our YouTube channel or to our podcast. Yes, we love you here. Like I said, I am your coding coach, your coding instructor, your coding break reminder, because yes, we want to have some sort of balance, right, outside of coding. So yeah, that's us. So I look forward to having a conversation about other topics, other trending topics in the medical coding and healthcare industry going forward. And again, I'm praying and hoping that it won't be an extended coding break unless I'm on vacation. But nonetheless, we are back. So yes, so again, welcome. And as always, code on, and to remember to take your coding breaks. Until next time, code on.